So hello everyone, this is Atul from Be Practical Tech Solution. So today we are going to work on a very interesting question based on an array again. So this question is, you can see on my screen that one question is given as I have an array and we have to find out the peak element. So what actually the peak element is, which is always going to be greater than its neighbors, whether it's on the right hand side or in the left hand side. Now you can see this, I have one array as a input. So I have the elements like 5, 10, 20, 15. So you can see here 20 is going to be my peak element. Why? Because 20 is greater than 10 and 20 is greater than 15. So it means that the peak element are those elements which is going to be greater from its neighbors. So these are going to be the neighbors of this element. So that's the reason why the 20 is going to be the output. So now here you can see that I have already one array. So now let's try to write one function. So let me write public static int. Why? Because I want to return that the index of that value, or even I can return that element directly. That also okay. So find peak, and here I'm going to pass one array. As well as we can also pass the length of an array. Fine. So now let me call this function. So now here I'm going to call that function. So first let me calculate the length, or and also it's okay. Array dot length. Fine. Now let me call that function find p, and here I'm going to pass this array, as well as I'm going to pass the length of an array. Fine. So what we are going to do, we are going to return the index value of this peak element. Or let's see max. Now here one thing, let's try to think here. What we have to, in order to solve this problem, certain things we have to consider. First thing is like, what if the array, the length of an array is going to be 0, right? So here, or then the 0 length is not going to be the valid here, because I won't be able to get any peak elements here. So let's say that if the length of an array is going to be equals to 1, then what I have to do? So it means that that is the element which is going to be peak. So in that case, I will return that 0, because obviously if it is a length of 1, so the first element is present at the index position 0 only. Now, what if the elements are in the increasing order? Okay, I have let's say I have already given one sorted array. So in that case, what is going to be the peak element? So in that case, if the array is already in the increasing order, so it means that the rightmost element is going to be the peak element. So let's check that. If, so what we can do here, like instead of using any predefined function, let's we are going to write our own sorting algorithm. So is, or here, if I'm going to write a function is increasing order. Okay, if it is already in the increasing order, and I'm going to pass this array. So in that case, as I told you, that what I have to return, we have to return the rightmost element. So I'm going to return n minus, I'm going to return n minus 1 index position. Now here we are getting the error. So let me create a one function here. Now here, what we can do, let me create a, already the function has been created as a Boolean type. So let me create a Boolean. And I'm going to write this one as a result. Let's say I'm going to write it as a, first I'm going to consider this one. Okay, let's say it is already in the increasing order. So now I'm going to check. So for int I equals to 0, I less than array dot length minus 1. length minus 1, then I plus plus. Now here I'm going to check if the array of I, if it is greater than the array of I plus 1. Array of I plus 1. If it is greater, that the first element is greater than the second one, so it means that it is not in the increasing order. So what I can do, I can make this result as a false. And then I'm going to return this result. Right? So it will give me if the array, I'm going to check it here, that if it is already in the increasing order, then in that case, I have to return n minus 1. Now, let's say that if it is in the decreasing order. So if is decreasing order, let's say that array is already in the decreasing order. So it means the element which is present at the index position 0 is going to be the peak element. So I'm going to return 0 in that case. So now again, I have to write the code for this. So let me create to decreasing order. So here again, the same logic. So let me write it here. So again, Boolean result is equals to, again, let's consider this already in the decreasing order. Now I'm going to check. So for int I is equals to 0, I less than or less than equals to array dot length minus 1, and I plus plus, if array of I is smaller than the array of I plus 1. One sec. No, but here array of I plus 1 should be greater, yes, smaller, right? It should be smaller only. So in that case only it is going to be decreasing, right? So here what I can do, I can write it result is equals to false, like this. Now at the end, I will simply return it. No, sorry. I have to return result. Fine. Now we have done this function. Now, if the array is neither of these three cases, okay, now it means that I got some random array. So as I told you, what is the logic here is like the peak element is the one who is greater than from both of its neighbor. So here now I'm going to write like for int I is equals to 1. Why? Because I have to check the neighbors also. I minus 1 also. So that's why I am going to start with the position 1. So I less than array dot length, length minus 1. Okay, why? Because again I have to go I plus 1 also. So I'm not going to put equals to, because I have to check I plus 1 also. Now I plus plus. Now here I'm going to check if array of I is greater than array of I minus 1. Okay, on the left hand side. Now let's say if it is also equal, then I will consider that the index first occurrence. And why and? Because I have to check both the condition. If array of I is greater than equals to array of I plus 1. Right? So in that case, what I have to do, I have to simply return I. Okay. So otherwise, what I can do is like I'm going to return 0. Okay. So now we have done with the function. Now let's call this function we have already called. Let me store the result. Okay, 1 second here, like this. Or one thing here also we can do, instead of returning 0, because what if I'm going to send the empty array? So in that case, if all of these conditions are not going to work, so it will return 0. So I will write -1. Let me return -1 here and some more effective. So now here I'm going to write if result is greater than equals to 0, then it will print array of result. So save this and now run this code. Okay, so I'm getting the error. What is that? I have done some mistake. Index out of bound exception, line number 14. So let me check that one. And -1 here. So we are calling this function. We've done something wrong. Okay, here you can see this equal sign, because we are moving up to I+1 also. So here also remove this equal sign. Why? Because we are moving up to I+1. Right, now save this and run the code. We are getting the output. So this is how we can easily find out the peak element. So let me tell you one more time. Here what we have to do is, like, first we are going to check if the value of if the length of the array is going to be 1. So in that case, obviously the index position is 0, which is the element which is going to be which is present, that is going to be the peak element. So I'm going to return the 0, because if I have only one element, so it means it is present at the index position 0. Now let's check that if I have sent the sorted array. So in that case, the last element is going to be the maximum element. So that is going to be the peak element. Similarly, if it is in a decreasing order, so it means that the array element, the element which is present at the index position 0, then that is going to be the peak element. But now if both of all these three cases are not going to work, then in that case, I'm going to check that the array element needs to be greater than its previous element, as well as it also needs to be greater than the next element. Then in that case, that element is going to be our peak element. So I think I hope so you guys got this, understand the concept. See you in another day. Thank you.